Hello YouTube, hello Robloxians, and welcome to Lumberland. CBR1K here. I'm going to do a tutorial on my sign. I told you guys I'd tell you how it was made, how it flashes, how everything goes. It's actually a pretty simple system once you get it figured out. So let's go ahead and look in the back here. Obviously there's the switch to make everything work. And that right there is what I did to make this thing work. It looks a little bit difficult. It's really not. I will show you guys what it is. All these little links are the holes in the wall that go out through the wires. All my wires are hidden, linked up to the actual neons on the outside, so that way everything lights up the way we wanted it to. You can see right there where my little cursor's at. That's the hole going out or back into that wall to touch the yellow wire to the actual power wires. You stand out here, can't really tell where they're at depending on what angle you're at. I did try to conceal them the best I could. Unfortunately, they're not all concealable the way I was hoping. So, to be able to make this sign, you are going to need however many words you have. That is how many delays you will need. So make sure you get the signal delays. That is the only part you have to purchase other than wire per word. You're going to need a cross or an XOR gate, XOR gate. This will actually make it so the sign flashes. And you will need at least 4 of the inverters or power converters, whatever you want to call them. A switch, obviously. And then I selected different color wires so that way you guys can see the way it's actually ran by the color that I use. The first thing we're going to lay down, though, is going to be our switch. So wherever your switch is, it is. Next thing is going to be our power converter, which you want to bump it right into one of the two sides, and you want the power side to happen. The reasoning why we use signal inverter, there's the name of it. The reason why we use this on one side is because the way the XOR gate works is if one side is on or the other side, you'll have power. But if both sides turn on, you will not have power. Then your signal delay, we want to try to set that right onto this little point, and of course it should turn on. Awesomeness. Crank it up to whatever amount of time you want it to delay for. That is totally up to you. So I'm going to move some of these wires out of the way really quick. So as you can see, it's constantly on because we only have one side that is actually activated. The next thing we're going to do is take one of these power or signal delays and put it in between here, the switch, and the XOR gate. We need the switch and the XOR gate to be that way for a reason. We do end up using more space there than what we want. Run your wire down to your switch. There we go. So you see that the power side is on, but your switch is actually off. You flip the switch, you actually turn the power off on this end, which is what we're looking for. Then of course you got to get one of your lines from here, the back end of your inverter, over to your XOR gate. So now you'll see as soon as that connects, the XOR gate shuts down, the signal inverter finishes off, and that's the end of the signal inverter. Or the, sorry, signal delay. Then we got to have this out here signaling out to our actual switch or our lights where we want it. We're going to grab another line, use that to go from here to here. So once we flip this switch, it'll turn off the power there, turn on our XOR gate, turn on our signal delay, which turns on our signal inverter, but it turns off the other side. So that's what we're trying to accomplish, is that side being off. Whenever we flip this switch, it should turn back on. There we go. So the next thing you need to do is take a line, attach it to this side, so you're outside of your signal delay. Route it all the way around here, and then you want to hook it to the same side, if you can, that your inverter and your switch are onto. And then we got to test it, make sure it works. Okay, so the light turned on, and then it turns it off. Turns it back on, turns it back off. Awesome. Okay, so the green will represent our actual words or letters, whatever you want to consider it to be. So then finally, to be able to activate the other ones the way you want, you take this last converter, you switch it around, and you point the arrow towards your next delay. Then you want to take another cable, attach it to this side because you want that power to continue. There we go. No, it did not activate it. Okay, let's try again. Oops, too far. There we go. So now we got it activated. Everything looks like it is good to go. Okay, so that is represented up there of what I have done. So you can see the way that cycles way up there. Then of course, if we flip the switch off, it'll take it a minute to finish off the cycles for everything. But now you see everything up there is turned on. Alright, so that's what we're going to represent down here. So because both of these are on, and this signal signal switch is, what is that? Signal inverter is on. We've got power to both sides. It has shut down our main piece, which in turn has shut down our other signal inverter and turned on our light. So if you flip the switch, it turns on this signal inverter, which actually turns off the outside. In turn, we'll cycle here at the second power switch because of the delay that goes around the back and in, which actually activates that second switch, causing the XOR gate to turn off. And then after the cycle goes through, it turns itself off on the A side, or where all the lights are, which turns on the signal inverter or the gate because of our switch here, or signal inverter here, that has activated the second side, causing the power to go up and hit the delay, turning on and off our neon light or our letters that we wanted. Now, if you want more than one, after you attach this yellow line out here to your inverter, you'll see that this inverter will also flash on and off. Send that down to another delay, and that delay will activate the next set of lights. And then you hook that delay to the next set of light, or the next delay, which activates the next set of lights, so on and so forth. So that is represented here. We'll flip my switch back on, and you look up that bottom inverter right where my cursor's at. That black line that just turned off, now it turned on, is actually activating the word comment on the other side, which comment then turns around and will activate the next signal delay, which then activates the word like. That signal delay goes all the way over here and activates the share series. So as you can see, it does work. It runs the way I like it to. There's no major flaws in it. I do have two signal inverters stacked on top of each other. One is the in line and one is the out line for the next delay system going down, which in turn goes down, which in turn goes over. And the finished product that everybody gets to see is a neon sign that flashes individual words while you're either recording or getting people's attention, etc. So that is how I made my sign. It did take me a little while to figure it out. I had a few different people tell me that the XOR gate needed power on one side but not the other. That the power on one side would activate it, and then you've hooked the flasher to the other side. I sat there for a little while trying to figure it out. I even tried to call in a couple people to try to help me figure it out. Unfortunately, nobody responded, so I had to do this thing myself. But like I said, it's super easy. There is a little bit of money into this thing. You wouldn't be using the neon lights, obviously, so that saves you some money. But I did that so you guys can see and understand the way that this thing works. So it goes power switch, signal inverter to XOR gate, to a signal delay, out to another signal inverter. The reason why we go out to that other inverter is so that way the lights actually either stay off or stay on, whichever one we desire. And then we got a signal inverter that activates the other side of the XOR gate. That other side of the XOR gate is there just so that way it's either true or it's not true, or it's on or it's not on. And then coming off of the A side, or where we have everything else hooked up, we have our secondary word or whatever we want to have it be down there. Now there is another way if you want the sign to stay continuously on, always flashing whenever you're in the game. That one is actually pretty easy to do. I'm going to make that one really quick. The key to it is to have everything pointing the correct way. And that ghost guy just decided he wanted to be a part of my base, I guess. So you got to have it where one will activate the next, which will activate the next. So with that, we can grab the wire. This one, we hook here to here. And it did not activate it. I did not hook it up right, it looks like. This one can go from here. That one activated. So let's fix the way that one was. There we go. So now that one's activating. We'll grab the red neon. We'll hook it here. Oh, I hate it when people do this. To here. And then our final light, it doesn't matter which one it is. We'll hook from, gosh dang it, here. That's not going to work. So as you can see, this is not actually going to activate right away, because we have these two telling this one to turn off, which won't turn this one on, which won't turn that one on. So what you got to do is find one that's activated, pull it out of place, and actually place it somewhere, which is going to turn on this one. And it does take me a couple of shots to get this thing to actually work to start cycling. because as you can see, I've got to get it into the system while it's actually running around. Gosh dang it. Let's try this. There it goes. Okay, so now it's going to sit there and just continuously go in a loop. And to show you what I mean, obviously those lights work, but if you were using these regular wires here and this was your cycle, you attach something right off of here out to wherever you want it to go, and now that's going to be your flasher. See? And it will sit there and continuously flash all day long whenever you don't have lag. It'll sit there and flash all day long without any issues. Oh, something lagged me. There we go. I didn't even move it. But this is one way to get a sign going if you want it to be a continuous sign. The flashing with you to be able to have power takes the XOR gate, a delay, a piggyback off of that like you've seen before, and one of the inverters off here to the side, so that way it keeps it going the way we're hoping for. And that is demonstrated here in my sign. So that is how I built my sign, aside from actually building it, putting the blueprints up, making the letters, and actually outlining everything, which I did find out that the outline was much, much easier to do on the PC than it was to do on Xbox. Other than that, little holes in it, try to hide them the best you can. I will show you like the R right here. I tried to hide it the best I possibly could. If you walk back here and look, oh, apparently I can't do it that way. I have it sideways, so that way I can get up into the O part of, or the circle part of the R. But other than that, everything just kind of goes through a hole. You can see I've got different shapes, different everything. Wood's going all kinds of different directions up there. To try to make it happen, it did take quite a while to put the word up, figure out where I wanted it to be, and then put the holes in it so that way the wires came through. Same thing with this here. I just put one little block in there and tried to hide it the best I could. My switch over here on my trash bin that we did on our last build also has a concealed wire like that. I do like it. It looks a lot better whenever you can conceal them. I do plan on kind of updating this and making a bottom to it in a sense, so that way it looks all fresh and pretty. But as you can see, I did the same thing here. I have a little space trying to conceal the wire the best I could, so that way it wasn't all hanging out. So there it is. There's my flashing neon sign build. The next thing that we're going to be making is a parking lot in a museum area. So I want to try to get everything possible in the game and put it into a little shop, but not actually have stuff up for sale. So if you guys enjoy my videos, I'd like to get up to 500 subscribers the best or as quick as I can. Have your friends subscribe, talk them into building with me. I'll be more than happy to build with anybody, or just run around and play the game in general. So if you like, please subscribe, comment, share, and like. And YouTube, Robloxians, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful night.